By all logic, Thief should be a game that we praise until the end of time. Stealth game? Check. Hooded main character who likes to use a bow? Check. Victorian steampunk-inspired setting? Check. Where did it go wrong? Positively or negatively, many have judged Thief's merits long before its release. Thus is the danger of reviving a dead and beloved series, especially if you don't put a number or a subtitle after its name. This isn't Thief 4, or Thief, insert clever double-meaning subtitle here. This is just Thief, a name laced with the presumption that this is the definitive experience in the series. Far from it. But the stealth genre has changed so much over the past 10 years, we were hoping that Thief would at least be a serviceable game on its own merit in the current market. We'll give it that. It's serviceable, it works, but that's about it. Thief's story is one of the worst we've encountered in the past 5 years. It is almost laughable how disorganized the entire campaign is. And while we don't want to draw too many comparisons to Dishonored, which is a superior stealth experience by the way, we can't help but get the feeling that Thief looked to Arkane's 2012 hit and thought, let's try to do that, and failed. While the main plot revolves around Garrett discovering the events around Aaron's disappearance, mystic cults are loosely attached to the story along with a plague, and even a blind old woman who instantly reminded us of Granny Rags. The plot clumsily trips over itself more than once, as it indecisively changes who the main antagonist should be. Oh, and for no other reason aside from market research says that they're cool right now, here are some zombies. The Thief series is no stranger to the supernatural, but the presence of zombies was enough to raise some blood pressure. Because the story is so poorly written, the characters themselves are boring and lifeless. We don't mind that the voice actor for Garrett changed, but the vocal delivery of Garrett is so bland and utterly generic that it detracts further from the experience.
Man of politics stealing by proxy. Sounds about right.
As right as a thief who steals for a good cause. I'll get you your book. You will be helping to secure a better future for everyone.
I'll remember that.
For the most part, Thief eschews the classic 3D stealth formula of plan, ingress, execute, egress. Instead, Thief's level design is closer to that of a shooter, where you have a final destination to reach and enemies in between you and the exit. There are some very minor branching paths along the way, but for the most part, there is one correct path for all circumstances. Sticking to the shadows is encouraged, but the game mandates the use of its swoop mechanic to stay stealthy, which again feels like an interpretation of the blink teleportation magic from Dishonored. During your sneaking, you can pick up valuables to add to your total cash count. Cash can buy upgrades to your equipment or refill your ammunition supplies. But get used to picking up the same brushes, pens, and scissors as loot over and over again, because instead of having large cash deposits around the world, you nickel and dime your way into fortune. You'll sift through the same closet and desk models over again, and while the lockpicking mechanic isn't so bad, it's used so much that players will most likely be tired of it by the end of the game. In between story levels, the game plays in a semi-open city with a few houses to break into and steal from. The houses feel completely lifeless, so it doesn't feel like you're stealing. Instead, it just feels like you're looting from an abandoned area. Stealth in games like Skyrim and Oblivion ran the risk of getting caught. Not so much here. The area is pocked with mini load screens that make navigation a bit of a chore, and to exacerbate the issue, the game's map system is dreadful and lacks cartographic essentials like a legend and simple location labeling. But the central hub is also where Thief has its shining moments because it's the area where players have the most freedom. It's also here that the side missions can be found. Some of the side missions are far and away superior to the main campaign, so much so, it made us wonder why the entire game wasn't as refined. Right off the bat, we set the game on Master and found it to be challenging, but just be warned, the challenge was also artificially increased by the directional audio being slightly off, and the semi-sentient guards who accidentally walk right into you no matter where you may be hiding. Frustratingly, some of the guards can glitch out, and they can also take unnaturally long pauses in their patrols at key choke points, making the linear level design even more frustrating. This is one of the brownest games of all time. Almost everything is brown. Brown wood, brown leather, brown ground, brown, brown, brown. And if it's not brown, it's gray. There is a blue light filter added, but it's not enough to counteract this otherwise completely drab game. Darkness is understandable, after all it's a stealth game, but the world is scarily devoid of reds and greens. The character models and the building models are well designed, but there is so little color in this game it might as well be black and white. Good stealth games empower players and make them feel not just sneaky, but like they've outwitted their enemies within a video game world. They aren't meant to reward only the patient, they're meant to reward the patient and the clever. The limited pathways and limited playing options within Thief denies players these feelings, and that is its single greatest offense. Performance-wise, the game ran great. We saw around 60 frames per second even while recording, and there are enough PC options in place to satisfy the most avid of tinkerers. In-game options are fairly impressive as well. For players who want to up their difficulty levels, a number of options can be turned on and off at will. There are moments when Thief truly shines, the bank heist mission being one of them, but the rest of the game is held back by the abomination of a storyline, the ultra-bland color palette, the atrocious level design, and the terrible map and menu system. Longtime Thief fans will probably be completely disappointed. Newcomers will find the game enjoyable in fits and spurts, but everyone else can simply skip over this one, or wait for it to go on sale for 50% off or more. We wanted to love Thief, but now we can't wait to uninstall it and play something else to wash the taste of brown out of our mouths.